Welcome. In 1919, Sigmund Freud wrote the essay Das Unheimliche. The Unheimlich locates the strangeness in the ordinary, the abandoned and the wild, mirrors and reflections, dreams and memories, déjà vu and doppelgangers. All of these are denizens of the uncanny valley, just like me. There's so much more to explore. Won't you join us? Largo's Lair presents Unheimlich Unveiled. Embrace the strange, embrace the familiar, and always embrace the Unheimlich.
Greetings, fellow explorers of the Uncanny, and welcome to another riveting episode of Unheimlich Unveiled. I'm your host, Jim Largo, and today we're embarking on a journey into the enigmatic realm of liminal spaces. These in-between places, where boundaries blur and transitions occur, hold the power to evoke an uncanny feeling that both intrigues and unsettles. Join me as we unravel the mysteries of betwixt and between, exploring the Unheimlich in liminal spaces. Let's begin by delving into the essence of liminal spaces. These are transitional zones, often existing between defined places or states. They can be physical, psychological, or even metaphorical. Liminal spaces are neither here nor there, and it's within this ambiguity that the uncanny takes root. The uncanny emerges when we step into these spaces that defy categorization, where our sense of safety and familiarity wavers, and the boundaries between the known and the unknown becomes blurred. Liminal spaces have a profound psychological impact on individuals. The ambiguity and uncertainty they embody can evoke a heightened state of awareness and introspection. When we find ourselves in these spaces, our minds grapple with the unfamiliar, inviting us to question our perceptions and reality itself. The uncanny within liminal spaces draws us into a state of liminality, where we're suspended between the familiar and the foreign, the comfortable and the unsettling. It's a psychological threshold that sparks curiosity and apprehension. The psychological impact of liminal spaces is profound. Our brains are wired to seek familiarity and predictability. When we step into a liminal space, this predictability is disrupted. Our senses are heightened and our brains are on alert. This heightened state can lead to a range of psychological responses, from a heightened sense of vulnerability to a fascination with the unknown. Liminal spaces can provoke a feeling of being watched, amplifying our anxieties and insecurities. Let's explore the unsettling elements that make liminal spaces challenging. The absence of clear purpose or identity is a common feature. Stairwells that lead to multiple floors, hallways that seem to stretch to infinity. These elements disrupt our expectations of functionality and orientation. In liminal spaces, we're confronted with the unknown and the unexplained, making us question what might be lurking around the corner. Let's delve into the unsettling elements of liminal spaces that challenge our perceptions. Liminal spaces often mark times of transition and transformation, highlighting the ephemeral nature of our existence and the unknown that lies ahead. Liminal spaces lack definitive identity or purpose, which can create an uncanny sensation of being adrift or lost in a sea of ambiguity. These spaces often serve as thresholds between different worlds or states, inviting us to contemplate the mysterious realms they connect. Let's now explore 3 real-life examples of liminal spaces. Airports, bustling hubs of modern travel, hold a paradoxical power to evoke the sense of Unheimlich amidst the sea of transient activity. These spaces, designed for seamless movement between destinations, can generate an uncanny feeling of being suspended between worlds, a sensation of neither here nor there. The Unheimlich within airports arises from the juxtaposition of familiarity and disorientation. While the architectural design and standardized processes might be uniform across airports, each terminal's sterile aesthetic and the anonymity of fellow travelers can create an eerie atmosphere that defies the usual sense of space. The uncanny feeling in airports can also stem from the temporal distortion that occurs within these environments. As travelers navigate the liminal space of terminals, time seems to warp, marked by the relentless ticking of departure boards and the rhythmic clatter of suitcases. The sense of waiting, suspended between departure and arrival, can create an uncanny experience where the ordinary act of waiting becomes imbued with a sense of otherworldliness. The departure gates, marked by their familiar yet transient nature, underscore the uncanny sensation of moving between two realities, the familiar home and the unknown destination. Additionally, the liminality of airports is amplified by the transient connections they facilitate. Strangers from diverse backgrounds converge in these spaces, their paths intersecting briefly before dispersing to various corners of the world. This encounter with the unfamiliar, combined with the regulated environments of security checks and boarding procedures, generates a sense of the uncanny. The airports function as a gateway to new experiences and unfamiliar landscapes, creates a heightened sense of awareness and introspection where travelers are confronted with the uncanny interplay between routine and novelty, comfort and the unknown. The hallways of office buildings, often considered mundane and utilitarian, possess a unique ability to evoke a profound sense of Unheimlich. These seemingly innocuous passageways, designed for movement and connection, can become eerie corridors that challenge our perception of safety and familiarity. The Unheimlich within office hallways arises from their dual nature, spaces intended for connectivity that paradoxically create feelings of isolation and disconnection. The long stretches of hallways can seem endless, stretching away into the distance and inviting introspection. This visual distortion, coupled with the rhythmic repetition of doors and lighting fixtures, can create a sensation of temporal suspension, as if time itself has taken on a peculiar rhythm. Furthermore, office hallways have often become a twilight zone between private and public realms. There are passageways where personal and professional lives intersect, where we encounter colleagues and strangers alike. The unpredictability of who we might encounter along the way, combined with the sterile and often impersonal surroundings, contributes to the Unheimlich feeling. The sense of dissonance arises when these corridors, intended for purposeful movement, instead provoke unease as we navigate this threshold between the known and the unknown. The uncanny essence of office hallways is intensified by the presence of doors, portals that can lead to both familiar places and hidden chambers of unknown purpose. Closed doors invite speculation about what lies behind them, stirring the imagination and inviting questions about the secret lives of the building's occupants. These hallways, laden with potential and concealed narratives, awaken a latent sense of the uncanny, where the ordinary is tinged with an unsettling aura that beckons us to explore the depths of these transitional spaces. Elevators, those small, confined spaces in motion, hold a unique power to invoke an unsettling sensation deeply rooted in the concept of Unheimlich. As they transport us between different levels and environments, elevators often introduce an element of liminality, a state of transition where we find ourselves neither here nor there. This transition creates a sense of uncertainty and displacement, blurring the boundaries between the familiar and the unknown. The very act of stepping into an elevator and watching the doors close marks the beginning of a journey into this in-between space, where time seems to stand still, and the world outside is temporarily suspended. The confined dimensions of an elevator, coupled with its transient nature, contribute to the uncanny feeling it evokes. The close quarters challenge our sense of personal space and privacy, making us acutely aware of our own presence and that of others sharing the ride. The physical proximity to strangers, the silence that often envelops these spaces, and the rhythmic hum of machinery all amplify the uncanny. As the elevator moves, we're confronted with the reality that we're both stationary and in motion simultaneously, creating a paradox that heightens the eerie atmosphere. In the confines of an elevator, the familiar environment of a building's interior is momentarily replaced by a space that exists beyond the usual boundaries of our daily experience. We become observers of our own transition, looking out through the transparent doors as the floors glide by. This duality between the familiar and the unfamiliar, the mundane and the transcendent, is what lends elevators their uncanny essence. As they ferry us upward or downward, elevators remind us that even in the heart of our most frequented spaces, the Unheimlich can lurk, shrouding the ordinary with an aura of the extraordinary. Now let's venture into 3 fictional examples of liminal spaces that trigger the uncanny. The Twilight Zone, a groundbreaking TV series created by Rod Serling, masterfully employs liminal spaces to evoke a potent sense of the Unheimlich. Throughout its episodes, the show often delves into the realms between reality and the unknown, leveraging liminality to create an uncanny atmosphere that captivates and unsettles its audience. These betwixt and between spaces, such as empty streets, desolate towns, and mysterious doorways, serve as portals into the uncanny, inviting viewers to traverse the boundaries of their comfort zones. The series excels at introducing viewers to transitional zones that blur the distinction between familiar and unfamiliar, creating an unsettling tension. Whether it's a lonely bus station, a deserted diner, or a crossroads in time, the Twilight Zone immerses its characters and audience in spaces where reality is malleable and uncertainty prevails. By placing characters in these liminal spaces, the show prompts viewers to question their own perceptions and expectations, inviting them to confront the uncanny within their own lives. The Twilight Zone often employs liminal spaces as narrative devices to expose the deeper psychological and existential dimensions of its stories. These spaces of transition mirror the transformative journeys of our characters, inviting viewers to accompany them on their psychological odysseys. As characters navigate these liminal landscapes, they encounter uncanny occurrences that challenge their understanding of reality. The viewer, similarly positioned on the threshold between the ordinary and the extraordinary, experiences the Unheimlich as the series bridges the gap between the known and the unknown. The Back Rooms, a captivating piece of internet mythology, artfully harnesses the concept of liminal spaces to evoke a profound and unsettling sense of the Unheimlich. Originating as a creepypasta posted on a 2019 4chan thread, The Back Rooms describes an alternate reality that resembles a series of monotonous yellow-hued office spaces and hallways. This vast interconnected labyrinth embodies the epitome of liminality, a space existing between the familiar and the unknown, where the mundane transforms into the eerie. The narrative's focus on these betwixt and between spaces triggers a compelling Unheimlich experience, leaving readers pondering the boundaries of reality. In The Back Rooms, the liminal nature of the setting blurs the lines between reality and unreality, tapping into the universal fear of the uncanny. The repetition of the same yellow walls and the seemingly endless corridors intensify the feeling of being trapped in an interstitial space. This sense of entrapment, combined with the mundane appearance of the surroundings, creates an uncanny tension as readers grapple with the unsettling familiarity of the environment while simultaneously sensing its otherworldly nature. The allure of The Back Rooms lies in its ability to transform a seemingly ordinary environment into a disquieting and haunting realm. The narrative draws upon the liminality of the setting to craft an immersive experience that resonates deeply with readers. The exploration of this surreal in-between space invites readers to question the boundaries of their own reality and confront the Unheimlich lurking beneath the surface of their perceptions. Neil Gaiman's captivating novel, Coraline, masterfully employs the concept of liminal spaces to weave a tale of uncanny intrigue and unsettling discovery. The story centers around a young girl who discovers a hidden door in her new home that leads to an alternate version of her reality. This hidden door, which opens onto a seemingly identical but twisted world, serves as a potent representation of a liminal space, a threshold between the ordinary and the extraordinary. As Coraline navigates between these parallel realms, the uncanny atmosphere thrives on the disconcerting familiarity of the settings and characters, all underscored by the unsettling presence of the other mother. The alternate reality that Coraline encounters is marked by uncanny elements that challenge her perceptions of safety and familiarity. The other mother's insistence on Caroline staying in this world, her unsettling realistic button eyes, and the disturbingly domestic facade she presents all contribute to the uncanny feeling. The liminal space of the hidden door allows Coraline to move between her home and the eerie other world, blurring the boundaries between the two and eliciting an Unheimlich sensation that resonates with readers on a deeply psychological level. Gaiman expertly uses liminal spaces in Coraline to explore the psychological complexities of fear, identity, and the duality of existence. Coraline's journey through the hidden door mirrors the psychological odyssey that many individuals experience as they navigate the traditional phases of childhood to adolescence. The liminality of the hidden door and the other world taps into the universal fear of the uncanny, the unsettling feeling that the familiar has become strange and unsettling. By employing liminal spaces in Coraline, Gaiman crafts a narrative that not only captures the essence of the Unheimlich, but also invites readers to contemplate the blurred boundaries between reality and imagination. As we conclude our exploration of the uncanny and liminal spaces, we've traversed the threshold of ambiguity and emerged with a deeper understanding of the uncanny's connection to our surroundings. Liminal spaces challenge us to embrace the unknown and to confront the eerie feelings they evoke. They remind us that life itself is a journey through countless betwixt and between moments. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Unheimlich Unveiled. In our next installment, we'll peer into the uncanny nature of mirrors and their significance in folklore, psychology, and horror. Reflective surfaces that not only capture our images, but also reveal the uncharted depths within. Are you ready to explore the uncharted? Uncanny Annie has included some helpful links in the description below to get you started. Have some ideas for future episodes? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's unveil the uncanny together. This is Jim Largo, signing off from Unheimlich Unveiled. Remember, the spaces that unsettle us also hold the potential for profound insight. Even within the in-between, the uncanny awaits for those who dare to look closer. Stay curious, stay intrigued, and always embrace the Unheimlich.
I'm glad you joined us for this look into the Unheimlich. If this episode piqued your curiosity, don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts, and stay tuned for more captivating revelations here on Unheimlich Unveiled. I'll be in the Uncanny Valley waiting for you. See you soon.